everyone. My name is Vlad Catrinescu. I'm one of the community reporters here at ESPC in Stockholm 2024. And today I am joined by one of my colleagues and Microsoft MVP, Frane. Frane, you are famous. You are very famous. But for those of you that don't know you, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Vlad, for the intro. My name is Frane Borozan. I'm in the SharePoint business for like 14 years today. I'm using SharePoint for like more than 20 years.
That explains the gray hair.
Yeah, so that's the SharePoint and a little age, I would say. So I'm long in the game and I really like the community, the SharePoint. So I'm really big fan of the SharePoint.
Awesome. And you get your MVP this year, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So first year as an MVP.
Yeah, so that's something. So I'm working for SharePoint for probably half of my life. So this is something like a badge that I'm doing my work good. So this is a badge from Microsoft by community that whatever I do in a SharePoint, it's really recognizable by the people who are in the community.
And now that we are at ESPC, now your first one, you come back almost every year. How many have you done now?
I'm not sure exactly, at least 5, I would say. To be honest, I do not remember exactly, but I would say probably about 5.
That's amazing. And how do you feel the vibe is this year? I know we're right after Ignite, so of course we didn't get as many announcements at ESPC as we usually get, but the keynote room was still full.
Yeah, I agree.
I know we were talking about it after. How do you think the vibe is with the pace of change that Microsoft is going?
Yeah, so I believe that the vibe is really good. So Microsoft is like giving us opportunity to be the part of this Copilot journey, and I believe that everyone here at the conference would like to do or to talk something about the Copilot. So Copilot is a huge word today, so Microsoft is like everything about the Copilot, and I believe that everyone here on the conference would be a part of that journey as well.
We don't really have a choice.
Yeah,
AI is changing
agree.
the world, so we don't really. It's either you follow along or you get out of the way right now.
Yeah.
Out of the keynote so far, what was the favorite subject that they talked about? Anything that really stood out for you?
So for me, it was for sure the translation thing, the real-time translation. I'm not sure exactly the name, but I think that
the interpreter team's agent.
Something like that. Yeah. So I really like that. I discussed immediately about after the keynote with one person. So they are already today worried who is going to be sure that the translation of the words that the person is saying, who is going to check that. So, and I heard a lot of good things about that. So for me, I really think this translation will change the way we work in the teams today.
It'll definitely make it easier, and especially like Fiskid, which is an international company. You have people in Croatia, you have people in England, you have me in Canada on the French side of things. But it will definitely make that international collaboration a lot easier.
I agree.
Now you mentioned some concerns, and I know you spend a lot of your day-to-day life with people that have concerns with Copilot. What are some of the things that you hear the most often that is blocking Copilot adoption?
So I'm discussing with a lot of clients, and the number one thing that they always have concern about are the permissions. So we all know how the Copilot is getting data from the tenant, and unfortunately for most of the companies, the permissions are all over the tenant, and actually they don't know who has access to what. So like 2 years ago, we wouldn't care a lot about the permissions, but today this is different. So the permissions and where exactly people have access in a tenant, that's really, really important for the companies and for the Copilot as well.
Do you also find that people having stale data
yeah.
is a problem where Copilot goes, looks at all the data and tries to find the best one, but it's like, hey, that one looks the best, but it's actually some old data that doesn't make sense anymore.
Today, today,
You make jokes about Copilot.
yeah,
That's what happens. The more jokes about Copilot, the more
Copilot
they
is telling me to maybe shut up. But yeah, I would agree with the stale data. So maybe today Copilot is not able to differentiate the stale data from something that is new, but I believe that will change in the near future as well. And the best, for example, the best thing is if we see how Copilot today.
Watch out what you
So
say about Copilot.
no more Copilots
No more
for me.
Copilot
So
jokes.
I will not mention Copilot anymore. So yes, I would agree that the stale data today is a big problem for the Copilot, and we need something to sort out that challenge.
And lately we've been talking a bit about compliance as well, sensitivity labels, things like that. Do you think enough people are using them?
No. I would say that less than 1% of the companies are using sensitivity labels.
That was not a Copilot joke. What's happening?
I am not sure. Yeah, so sensitivity labels are something today that very few companies are using it, and I'm pretty much sure because of the Copilot will increase the adoption of the sensitivity labels as well, because it will help understand better what kind of data we have, and if we need to, we can block some data with the sensitivity labels that is exposed to the Copilot.
So now if you have to, you go to a company, what is kind of the game plan you give them from where they are today to before purchasing Copilot?
The best is to have some kind of a baseline of terms of the permissions, so who has access to what. The biggest challenge today is everyone except external users. So we use those two security groups a lot in the past, but unfortunately today that's exposing content to the Copilot, so I would say that's a baseline. Then when you roll out Copilot to some particular amount of users, you need to be sure where they have access. Then I recommend to check where exactly those users are having access, and then only to roll out the Copilot to those users.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your advice. We'll finish this before Copilot completely takes your chair away. Thank you so much for your time. What are your plans for the rest of the week?
So I will be here hanging around with the people and trying to learn what are the challenges, what are the future challenges in terms of the Copilot. What is expecting us tomorrow?
We're going to have to do another video soon where you tell me everything that you learned.
Thank you,
Talking
Vlad.
to everybody. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching.